Some people might have a little rock and roll pneumonia.
You wanted the best, you got the best. From my home studio on Long Island, New York, welcome to Ian Scotto Rocks. I am your host, Ian Scotto, and here's what's interesting. The last video I did, which is already getting a tremendous response about the song Sword and Stone, the long-lost Kiss demo. If you watched that, which a lot of you did, in the intro, I say, you know, we have the Kiss avatars coming in the next couple of years. I know they have the event coming up in Vegas, but it's like, other than that, what exactly are we going to have to talk about in the future when it comes to Kiss? And, you know, that does worry me a little bit with this channel because it feels like half of the audience are Kiss Army, which I love, but I want to be able to keep up with interesting stuff to talk about that the audience is going to want to know about. And sure enough, the day after I put that video up, or the day after I recorded, the day it is up really, we learned this revelation from Deadline. It's at least being reported on that website that Nick Jonas is going to be playing Paul Stanley in an upcoming Kiss biopic. Now, I know that many of you guys consider me like an authority on Kiss, you know? What makes you the bro authority, bruh?
What makes you the authority, bro? West Side Story, bro. What, bro? Sweeney Todd, bro. What, bro? What, bro? Merrily we roll along.
I'm really not. I mean, I'm a fan. I keep up with everything. I'm a nerd for the music, but I don't keep up with everything. I think I'm in the loop of what's going on, but I'll be honest, and this may embarrass some of you who really do keep up with everything. I had no idea there was a Kiss biopic in the works. I read up a little bit on the Deadline website and all that, and yeah, it's apparently been in the works for quite a while. It's going to be about the first 4 years of the band. And then also, as for Nick Jonas, it's really someone I know very, very little about. When the Jonas Brothers rose to fame, I was in college. I had no interest in it. And it's not like I don't keep up with pop culture or enjoy some pop music here and there. I mean, I love some Britney Spears. I love some Leah Kate. How hot is Leah Kate, right, if you don't already know? Put some pictures of Leah Kate up on the screen, Basilius, because she is smoking hot. But anyway, yeah, I don't really know much. You know, my knowledge of the Jonas Brothers was that South Park episode, since I just made a South Park reference, you know. I got a ring on my finger to remind me that I must behave, baby.
Baby, I've got a ring on my finger to remind me that I must behave.
And I know that Nick Jonas is considered a bit of a sex symbol among the ladies. He's married to Priyanka Chopra, also considered to be a bit of a sex symbol. Just looking up for this piece, I found it as 10 years older than him, so a bit of a cougar there. Good job, Nick Jonas. And yeah, I don't know much about any of this, but knowing that he's a bit of a sex symbol, it is kind of like Paul Stanley just being like, all right, who's some good-looking hot actor we could have portray me and make me look good? You know, and they'll have to balance that a little bit, because if you read Paul Stanley's book, his first autobiography, he dealt with a lot of insecurity in those early days, the deformity of his ear. And, you know, he wasn't this guy who was 100% secure in his looks. I mean, he portrayed that larger-than-life persona on stage, but when the makeup came off, he definitely struggled with some things behind the scenes. I'm also wondering the fact that this is going to be a biopic about the first 4 years of the band. We know there's no love between Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley in one camp, and Ace Frehley and Peter Criss. So I hope it just accurately portrays things. I wouldn't want it to just shit on those guys just for the sake of making themselves look good, but I wouldn't put that past Kiss. I would want it to be as accurate of a portrayal as possible. I'm not that big of a biopic guy, though, to be honest. Those are usually not my favorite movies. Like, I've seen Motley Crue The Dirt. It was cool. I watched it once, never really thought about it again. You know, I know people loved the Bohemian Rhapsody. I loved the job Mike Myers did. He was awesome. I didn't know it was him when I saw it. And I was like, wow, that was Mike Myers. And to look back, he did a great job. Straight Outta Compton was a good one. Shout out to Dean Cameron. Dean Cameron's a friend. He was in that for a very, very brief cameo. But yeah, I'm not a big biopic guy. I did learn from the article that this was originally going to be on Netflix. Now it's not, so maybe it'll get a large theater release. That would be cool. I would definitely go to the theater to see a Kiss biopic. But the problem with biopics is usually the accuracy and fitting in so much time into a hour and a half, 2 hour movie. But if they're just focusing on the first 4 years, that could be kind of interesting. I just hope the accuracy is good. Does Nick Jonas really look like Paul Stanley? I mean, put a like young Paul Stanley side by side with Nick Jonas here, Vasilius, and you guys could be the judge of that. I mean, I guess a little bit. You know, we put the Kiss makeup on him for the thumbnail, and you can see what you think of that. But yeah, it's kind of like, you know, if you did an Ian Scotto Rocks biopic, who should play me? How about Brad Pitt? You know, put the hottest guy possible as me, or Tom Cruise or something. I mean, in actuality, you know who would play me? I did a video with one of his skits, but I've been told Nick Kroll. You want to do a side by side of me with Nick Kroll, Basilius? Maybe him. He's not an actor, but I've been told they look like Tony D'Angelo from the New York Islanders now. Shout out to Tony D'Angelo. I am an Islanders fan. This is a guy who's played on every team, man. He's played on the Flyers. He's played on the Rangers. Now he's on the Islanders. That would be my doppelganger. I don't know who would be the Paul Stanley doppelganger. I just hope it's a good movie, and I had no idea it was even coming out. I wonder how long. I mean, the fact that they are just getting started with casting now, you got to think, like, there's going to be a little slide of enthusiasm for Kiss as the fan base ages, but I do think the music is still timeless, and hopefully there will be kids who are 15, 16 who want to learn more about Kiss, although I don't always have the most hope for that when you see kids walking around in Kiss t-shirts, and they're like, what? Who's this? I did a whole video on that of a kid I saw in a Motley Crue t-shirt, and he was like, what, this? People still listen to this shit? And I'm like, wow. This is a great example of the youth here, walking around in these shirts of bands that they don't even like. But anyway, man, you guys can let me know what you think. If you're excited for this biopic, if you're not excited for this biopic, is Nick Jonas a good choice? We'll see, man. It could be interesting. I don't have the highest of hopes, but you know what? I love Detroit Rock City, and a lot of people shit on that movie. I thought Detroit Rock City was a lot of fun. I also just have fond memories of here in the town that I'm in. As a young kid, we used to have 2 movie theaters in Port Washington. Now there's none. I mean, that's the state of cinema these days. And I remember getting, with my friend Jeff, getting tickets to some PG movie at the time, and then, you know, sneaking into Detroit Rock City, and we were like, that movie rocked. And I still love it to this day. I still think it's a fun movie, man. Shout out to Eddie Furlong. But yeah, that's about it for today's news update. As always, be sure to check out the merch store. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're feeling extra generous, you could send us a super thanks. And if you're new, we cover news, we cover deep dives and commentary of everything rock here on Ian Scotto Rocks. And if you want to watch more, click on this video right here where we talk more things Kiss.